Job Seekers webinar, and we want to thank you for coming, and we also want to thank the Institute of Museum and Library Services that have made this webinar possible. They provide funding that allows us to do these webinars. So today's virtual job fair presentation is presented by Glen, and he is with Premier Virtual. And I'm going to turn it over to him shortly. Do want to let you know that today's webinar is being recorded. Slides are available in your Blackboard Collaborate room, and the recording and so forth will be made available later. Captioning is available as well. We have, I'll put it in the chat in a moment, stream text, or we have our live captioner with us. So thank you so much, and Glenn, I'll turn it over to you.
Excellent. Well, thank you for the introduction, and nice to meet all of you today. My name is Glen Bressalmo. I am the Director of Client Success here at Premier Virtual. What my role in the company is I provide all of the training and all of the support for the events that happen on our platform. We have been working with Everett at the Kentucky Department of Veteran Affairs, so thank you for your continued partnership, Everett. And I have been asked to do a presentation on the attendee or job seeker side of the platform, so that if you do encounter any job seekers, you understand what the process is for them to not only get registered, but to maximize their profile for better visibility with recruiters, and then some event day best practices. So I will be going through some slides here. So as I go through, if there's any questions, I do ask if maybe we could hold them to the end. A lot of times what will happen is I'll answer them as we continue forward. But if you do have any questions at the end, we can definitely take them. So the first thing we'll talk about here is registration pages. So when the event is created in Premier Virtual, there's going to be 2 unique registration pages created for every event that is hosted. What's going to happen is that when the event is built out, one registration page is built for organizations and another is built for job seekers, or what we would call attendees. Now, when you look at a registration page, you're going to see that there would be a graphic image off to the left. That is going to be what I would call the title page of the event. On the right side, you're going to see an event timer and the schedule of the event, which is going to be your live and end times. Most important part about the registration page is going to be that section in the middle under information. That is going to be direct messaging from the event host to the job seeker. So a lot of times there's some really important information in there, and we want them to just make sure that they do read that before they go ahead and click on the blue register for event. Now, once they click on the blue register for event, what's going to happen is they are then brought to what we call the authentication page. Now, if this job seeker or attendee is a brand new user and they have never used the Premier Virtual platform before, they will need to register as an attendee. This way they can set up their credentials, and their credentials will be a email address, and they will create and confirm a password and accept the terms and conditions. Now, we always try to remind job seekers to try to use a professional email address. This will be visible in what is given to recruiters that are looking at their profile. Actually, I'm going to go back for 1 second. I'm going to just point out the sign-in option. So the great thing about Premier Virtual is once a job seeker does register and builds out a profile on the platform, if they attend future events, maybe they're going to attend the next month's event, their profile is going to be exactly the way that they left it this time. So they do not need to recreate the wheel every time that they register. The next time they come in, they would not need to register as an attendee. They can use the sign-in option, use their existing credentials, and all of their information that they added to their profile from the last event will be there. Now, both of these options, the sign-in and register as attendee, once they go ahead and click that blue register button, it's going to walk them into what we call a setup wizard. Now, the setup wizard is step-by-step instructions on how to build out your job seeker profile, as well as get completely registered to the event. Now the setup wizard can vary in the steps. Right now you're going to see that there are 5 steps in my setup wizard. Sometimes the host can make certain things hidden. So for example, if they wanted to hide the profile photo and remove that, they can. So sometimes the wizard might look a little different depending on how the host sets up the event. Now step number 1 is just basic information. So this is going to be their first and last name. The job title box that you see is the job title that they either held in their last position or the title that they're looking to go into. There is a place if they are a military veteran, active duty, guard, or reservist. There's a place to mark themselves as a yes. If they do mark themselves as a yes, we will place an American flag next to their profile picture, and they will be represented in the event as U.S. military. Now, under the location, you're going to see there's a little pencil there. When they click on that pencil, it is going to pop open a box that is called the location picker. And what this is they start to type in their city name. A drop-down list will appear. They'll then go into the drop-down, select their city, and then it will be auto-populated into the location box. Next is going to be zip code and phone number. And then the last is going to be optional, but it is a place for them to add in their LinkedIn URL. When adding their URL, it does need to be in the HTTPS format in order to be accepted. It is a nice touch when the recruiters go into a candidate profile and that LinkedIn profile has been added. So if you are working with job seekers, we would encourage them to add that. So we move on to step 2. This is an added step. You'll see that it just changed to 6 steps in the wizard. This is an SMS opt-in for reminders. Premier Virtual is going to send out email reminders leading up to the event, but the candidate also has the option to add their phone number for text reminders as well. What they would do is verify the phone by clicking the blue verify phone link. We would send them a text message, they would enter the code, and they would be set up for text reminders. Next is going to be the profile photo. Now, I have seen some very peculiar photos over the years of doing this, so we always want to remind them that the professional photo is what we're looking for here. This is going to be visible to recruiters. This is what they will see in their candidate profile. So step number 4 is a place where the candidate will be able to add their past or present job experience. Now, when they click on that edit button, it is going to open up another layer of all of the different categories that we have, whether it's hospitality or tech or whether it's customer service. Now, for example, if they clicked into customer service, it would then open up every job title that we can think of under customer service, whether it be a call center rep, whether it be a center manager or a store manager. So there's a lot of opportunity for them to add in their past job experience. And I always say to candidates that you can pick up to 20 levels of experience, and I highly encourage adding those because sometimes in a busy event, a recruiter does not have time to dive into a full, complete resume as they're trying to keep up with chats. But when they add the experience, it is right there, very easy, nice top-level view of what the candidate has done in their past positions. This is the second level. So once they hit that edit, you'll see that there's these different levels of experience. So like I mentioned, if they clicked into one of these categories, it would then bring up a whole nother layer of job titles under that category. The maximum they can pick is 20. Sometimes we do get some support calls of people that have gone over 20. They do need to remove a couple in order to continue in the wizard because 20 is the max. Now, as far as the resumes, we only accept PDF resumes, so they would need to upload a PDF resume. Some events, the resume is required, and some it will be optional. You can see here from my example that that button at the bottom is saying that the resume is required. It will remain gray until I upload a resume, at which point it will then turn blue and I'll be able to continue forward. We do also allow the candidates to upload up to 5 PDF documents. So if they have a resume for different industry fields, they can upload multiple resumes. So if they had one, let's say for hospitality, one maybe for customer service, and they were specific to those industries, they can upload more than one. The next thing that you're going to see under the upload PDF is a little box that says that you can opt in for a complimentary resume review from Top Resume. So Premier Virtual does work with a third party. When the candidate checks that box, they're opting in to have their resume reviewed by Top Resume. Premier Virtual will automatically send that candidate's resume over to Top Resume. Top Resume will do the review and send the results directly back to the candidate. It is optional. It will also come back with some optional upgrades for professional resume rewrites, but it is completely optional, and the initial review is complimentary with no obligation. All right, the last step here is step number 6. This is going to be what we call job seeker registration questions. So the host of the event does have the ability to ask candidates registration questions. This is going to be questions that is either data that is important to the host themselves, or it could be data that's also important to recruiters that view the candidate profile. These questions and how the candidate answered these questions will be visible in the candidate profile. So they will have access, the recruiters will have access to see the answers to the job seeker questions. Now you're going to see in the bottom of step number 6 here, there is this blue complete registration button. That is what we need the candidate to get to as they're going through the wizard. So we don't want them to quit halfway through. We want them to work themselves all the way through and then hit that complete registration. That is what will finalize their registration and add them into the event. Once they hit that, you are going to then be brought back to the registration page. You're going to see there's a green tag underneath the graphic image on the left that says that I have successfully registered. Okay, so the screen that you're seeing right now is something that may pop up when the candidate goes into their profile, and what it's doing is a check to make sure that the candidate did 100% complete their profile. So as we continue on here, you're going to see, and hopefully you can see this okay, I'll try to expand it out a little bit, but on the left-hand side, you're going to see menu, settings, and help. Now, under settings, when they click on my profile, that is where they can go back in and edit anything that they did in that setup wizard. So if they wanted to change or add some experience, or maybe they wanted to add their LinkedIn URL, or they wanted to add their profile picture or update a resume, all of that would be done here under my profile. Now, one thing that we do not do in the setup wizard, just because we want to save time and really make sure that they get through that wizard pretty quickly, is the bio in their profile. So you'll see that right now there is no bio. So just to the right of the picture, there's that bio section, and it is empty. By clicking on the blue edit profile button in the top right corner, they will then be able to edit and then add in the bio. Oh, thank you. Yes, forgot about the pointer here. So the bio is very important because this is going to be what the recruiters will be able to see when they go into the profile. And it's just a little bit about the candidate, what they've done, what is their professional background. And a lot of times the candidates do forget to add this. So I do like to point it out because it is really important on the recruiter side when they do have that bio added. Okay, so this is just talking about the bio. It does not need to be too long. It just, maybe just a couple things about the highlights of their career, some of the things that they specialize in. And this also shows you where they can go ahead and edit anything in their profile, their military status, profile picture. And then I do have an arrow pointing up to the profile picture, where if they do represent themselves as U.S. military, you'll see that American flag is now next to that candidate's profile, and they will be represented as U.S. military. Now, I'm going to back up here just a second, just to show you a couple things here before I get into the lobby of the event. Right below the settings, we do not need to worry about the My Schedule, but I'm going to go down to the Help section. You're going to see two tabs under Help. One is going to be the training, and one is going to be the help center. So the training, all of our training is built into our platform. So when they click into that training tab, they're going to have access to all of the training videos that we have that relate to a candidate. There'll be PDF downloads of the user guides, so they can go in and download the user guides for reference as well. And those are available at any point, so they can go in and pull those whenever they need to. Now, if the candidate has additional questions, we do have a built-in help center so that they can, let me just blow that up a little bit. So right down in here is the help center. When they click on the help center, it is going to open up in a separate window. And then what it is a knowledge base. So they can come in and ask questions to the knowledge base, search for answers. So things like, how do I convert my resume to a PDF? Or how do I update my profile? So those questions, they can then search for answers. If they don't find answers and they need support, in the help center, there is also going to be a chat bubble where they can get connected with our support team. So we do encourage them, if they do need assistance, to definitely reach out to us through the help center and then by clicking on that chat bubble. Now, once the candidate goes into the lobby of the event, there's a couple things here I just want to point out is the events that they are going to be attending do not have these white boxes. This is just a way to kind of break down a lobby into different rooms. The events that they're attending do not have the category section. So when they come into the lobby, they're just going to see all of the company logos displayed. But I did want to point out the filters above. So we do have some filters where they can go in and add different things like job category, job title, location, and search for companies that have jobs in their area, and also the categories and titles that they're interested in. So those filters are there if they want to filter out booths based on that search criteria, or they can just go booth to booth in the lobby. So if the lobby does not have categories, this is what it would look like when the candidate comes in. So they would see, and I always say, kind of imagine yourself here walking into an in-person event. So when you walk in, you see tables set up everywhere, you see company logos, and you see signage. That's what the job seeker is experiencing here. Now, this is kind of like the table view, where if they wanted to go into that booth or walk up to that table, what they would do is click onto that company logo, and then that'll take them inside that company's booth. Now, before I go to the next slide, one thing I would also like to point out is the chats on the right-hand side. These are conversations that the candidate has with companies. So these chats will follow the candidate around no matter where they go in the event. So if they are in the lobby, the chats will be there. If they click into a booth, those chats will follow. So that means that they will be able to continue conversations with any company or recruiter no matter where they are in the event. Now, once they click into a booth, and let me just blow this one up just a little bit for you here. When they go into a booth, there's going to be a lot of information that they can go through. So the companies will be filling out the information for their booths, and you're going to see that there is an About Us where they can click on to learn a little bit more about the company. There's job postings. This will list all the job postings that this company had. When they click on a job title, it'll open up the job description, and there will be a blue button for them to click on to submit their resume to the positions if they choose to. You can disregard that book a time. Once again, the scheduling feature is not turned on for this event. And then there might be some additional information off to the side in these 3 additional buttons. We call these the custom links, where we allow the company to really share or showcase anything that they would like about their organization. There's also going to be website and social media that will run down the side of the booth. And then if they do want to reach out to this company, I always recommend when they reach out to try to reach out with a question, maybe, hey, I've looked at your job postings, I've applied to your director of customer service, I'm very interested, I wanted to know if there was somebody available to speak with. So when they click on that chat with button, it'll then allow them to send or type a message down in the message field, and that message will go directly over to the recruiters in this booth. I'm going to skip the book of time. So when they go in to look at a job posting, this is what it would look like. You'll see that this is a position for a barista. They didn't put a very good job description in, sell our amazing coffee, but you'll also see that they have 3 vacancies for this position. You can see the location and the salary amount. Now, if they are interested in this position, there is the blue submit resume button here. This is what they would click to then send their resume over to the recruiters for this position. Now, in a booth, we also allow the candidates to disposition a company. And this is going to become very important for after the event is over. They will be able to look at their notes, look at their rankings, look at their activity that they did in the event in something that we call the My Journey. So if they do leave a note, this is going to be a note that they're leaving to themselves. So this might be something like, hey, I spoke to Glen. I'm very interested in the position. I do need to follow up with him on Monday, because when they go into an event and they talk to a lot of different recruiters, sometimes they might have forgotten where they left off. And by leaving a quick note, that'll help them with their follow-up after the event is over. They can also rank the company. That would be for themselves also. That would not be something visible where the company would be able to see that that candidate ranked them. It's more for their own review after the event is over. And then there's also a status where they can mark follow-up needed, interview scheduled, or hired. So there's a status option. These leave a note, ranking, and statuses are optional, but highly encouraged, because it does really help them after the event is over, once they get into their follow-up. All right, so most of the time that they spend in the event is going to be through text chat. A lot of times when a candidate goes into a booth, when I do the recruiter training sessions with the recruiter side, I always recommend to them, reach out to the candidate, greet them, let them know that somebody's there to answer their questions, because on the job seeker side, they've got a lot going on. They're visiting a lot of booths, they're reading job descriptions, they might be looking at content that's been added to a booth, and they might be talking to multiple recruiters. So they do have the ability to have text chats. Now, the video chat is going to be by invite only by the recruiters. And usually what happens there is that the recruiter will pre-qualify the candidate by some questions in the text chat, and then sometimes they will invite them to a video chat. The video chat is built into the system, so it is going to be something that would be sent over by the recruiter. And what would happen is that once they are sent an invitation, it would look like this. So you've been invited to a video conference from Glen at Town Center Bar and Grill, and then there's going to be the join call. As soon as they click on join call, the video software will start to open up. but they must accept their microphone and camera permissions. If they do not allow microphone and camera, we do not have permission to use it, and they will not have audio and video for that video call. All right, once the event is over, the My Journey is an amazing tool for follow-up. So the My Journey is tracking everything that this candidate has done in this event. So with the My Journey, when they click on it, you're going to see that there is going to be a couple tabs in the My Journey. So there is actions taken, visited booths, organization actions, and chat transcripts. Now, under the actions taken, this is going to track any any note that you left in a booth, any ranking, or any status. It is also going to show any resume that you submitted to positions. So you can see from my example here, updated status to interview scheduled for Glen's Coffee Shop. You're also going to see that we left them a ranking of a 4. We left a note that had a great conversation and that you got an interview, and then it shows that you applied to the barista position. This will be for every booth they visit. We are tracking that journey for them so that they can come back and review after the event is over. Oops, let me just go back a second here. The visited booths is just going to be a list. It's going to show them every single booth that they visited during the event. Under organization actions, the companies do have the opportunity to also disposition the candidate, where they could mark them as either interested, follow-up needed, interview scheduled, or hired. I will be honest, a lot of companies do not use that option, but if they do, the candidate would be able to see that organization action under that tab. And then the final one is chat transcripts. And this is probably one of my favorites because the candidates are going to have a lot of conversations. They may have received an email address or a phone number for follow-up. Every chat transcript for every conversation that they had can be found in the My Journey under chat transcripts, and they can go in and see exactly what conversation they had in that booth, and they also can see where they left off with those recruiters. Just a couple of best practice tips so that they do have a successful event. Let me just blow this up a little bit. So we do recommend that they are prepared. So it's not only registering and building out your profile and adding those extra things like the experience and the bio, but it's also review the training videos. Go through the training guides, the PDF guides. Get familiar with the dashboard. Go in early, look around. Make sure that you're comfortable with the system, so that on event day when you go to log in, you are ready to go and set up for success. Prepare and upload your well-polished and most recent resume to your profile. Sometimes candidates will upload a resume, they'll get some feedback, they'll make some modifications. They do have that ability to go in and remove a resume that they have on their profile, and then they can also upload their latest and greatest. Be ready to respond to all recruiters reaching out to you. This will be your chance to show them that you are the best choice. So a lot of times the events get busy, so it's just really keeping on top of those conversations. If a recruiter does reach out, is just getting back to them in a timely and professional manner. Creating that elevator pitch so that if they are invited to a video call, they have that opportunity to be face-to-face with the recruiter, that they do have that elevator pitch. They can sell themselves, just talk a little bit about their skills, their experience, which is important, especially when you're face-to-face on a video call. Dress for success. So you never know when you're going to be invited to a video call. Usually that is, after a recruiter has pre-qualified you, they've, asked their questions that they normally ask. So we always say just be prepared, dress for success like you're going to an in-person event. So even though you're at home, just be prepared because you could get invited to a video call. One thing I'll also mention about our video software is it does not have backgrounds. So we always want to recommend to make sure that they have a good background that they're in front of, so that, wherever they are at home, they're in a good spot where they're quiet, they've got a good background, and that they can focus. Take time to fill out all information in your profile. An incomplete profile will show the recruiters that you may not be the best fit. And I see this all the time, especially with that bio. The bio is kind of like the top section of the resume, so it's really important. It's those like the couple top things that you want to sell yourself on, and a lot of times the candidates don't go back in and fill out that bio. So really going in and making sure that you have the most up-to-date resume, the bio's completed, you have a well polished professional profile picture that you've added, and your LinkedIn profile link as well. And then once again, after speaking with the company, take a second to take a note, rank the company, fill in the status, because this will really become helpful in that My Journey once the event is over. All right, so I think we have covered everything. I'd like to turn it over to all of you to see if there are any questions for me. What I'm going to do is actually go back in the slides here, just in case you do want to see anything from the registration page, the setup wizard, going into the candidate profiles, how to update those. So just bear with me as I click back, and then if there's any questions or anything that you want to see again, please let me know, and I'm happy to circle back.
Glenn, this is Hillary. I'm going to briefly, if it's okay, share about what Kentucky is doing. I've just dropped in the chat about our monthly virtual job fairs, and I think some of you all may have seen these emails previously, but our monthly virtual job fairs are sponsored by the Department of Veterans Affairs, and we have our representative Everett Bracken here. But the next one is August 20th, so next Wednesday. I've put some links in the chat, so if you want to register as an employer, there's actually separate training that you will get through Premier Virtual about that. So if you register as an employer, if you're hiring at your library, and then job seeker registration, for those in your patrons. So that is in the chat. Wanted to let you all know that, and I can follow up with some other things too, but I'll open it up for your questions. Thank you, Glenn, for letting me interject.
Sure, absolutely.
One thing that I had talked with Glenn about, and actually Everett too previously, is I know sometimes people will sign up for the virtual job fair or any kind of service, whether it's Yahoo Mail or they forget their password, and so that Glenn was gracious to show and point out the help feature or help section, and that has really quite a bit of information to assist a patron. If you can help them navigate to that section, that will be beneficial, but you can also use the chat feature to help with the navigating those times when I forgot my password, I don't know how to log in, what to do. That's a really helpful place to assist folks who are in that position. And I know many of you offer resume classes and training on LinkedIn even, so training how to set up a profile on LinkedIn. So this is just another way to assist your patrons. This is freely available. Again, the Department of Veterans Affairs is making this available, so that this is a great resource to connect with your patrons. Provide this resource to them. But I'm talking, so I'll let anybody have questions or things that you'd like Glenn to touch on more. Or, yes, Denise?
Yeah, hi. I actually have a question, I think more about just the monthly. First of all, Glenn, this was fabulous. I was really curious to see what a virtual fair, how that would operate. So I think this is really impressive. But my question's really more about, we have a very robust program at our library for job seekers. Is this fair monthly? Like when I click into the link, is there a way to know like what organizations will be there? And I just want to verify it's not solely for veterans. Is that correct?
Is Everett still on the call by chance? Not to put him on the spot. I'm not sure. Can't see the participants. I forgot how to find those, but
That's okay. Everett here. I don't know, Everett, if you aren't able to speak, you're welcome to chat.
Okay. So on the site, how it's initially set up is there's not a view to see the list of employers when you first register. What I did do is we added some of the employers when they first register. Like when you first log on to register, underneath the commissioner's letter, I've listed like 80 employers who have historically have been the employers who registered for this event. So it's shown there.
Oh, okay.
Oftentimes after the event, I'll send the list out of all the employers who were there, because part of their process is they need candidates to apply on the applicant tracking tool on their company site. So that would also get released out to the job seekers.
Okay. And if we were, because we host a lot of programs to get our job seekers ready, like doing your profile on LinkedIn and resume building and all that kind of stuff, would we be able to use this recording to show them how to get set up for success for this? If we introduced it and moderated it?
So Glenn has another video that he can share.
Okay.
That's actually
yes.
YouTube.
So I believe this is going to be distributed. So Hillary might be able to answer that a little bit better, but there is great resources under the help section. So you'll see the training tab. The training tab is going to have all the training video. I think there's 3 training videos in there for job seekers. One of them is pretty thorough. It's very similar to what we went through today, where it goes right from the registration page, registering completely, going back into your profile like we did here today, and then most importantly is the event day best practices. So it is going through how to navigate in the lobby, how to talk with candidates, with recruiters, how to leave those notes, how to submit applications. And then most importantly is once the event is over, it does also go through that My Journey so that they know how to follow up. So great resources in the training tab. There's also this slideshow that you saw today is downloadable in the training as well. It is one of the user guides that we have in there to download. It is a PDF, so anybody can download it. And then once again, if they do need us, that help center is also there where they can come in and ask our knowledge-based questions or reach out to us through the chat bubble.
Okay, thank you. That's great.
Yes,
I just verified on the registration setup page for the job seeker, directly below the letter from the commissioner is a list of all the 80 employers that have registered in the past. That's it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I will add here, Everett, when he builds the events out, he does add my attendee job seeker training video to the registration page as well. So before the candidate even puts in their email address, before they even click that register button, Everett has added that right to the registration page. And you'll see that. So you can kind of see it in the background here, but right below this information section, there's event videos, and the training video will be down there. So before they even click on register, they can click on that training video and have access to it.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've put Everett's contact information. He is the one who would be our local contact for questions about this in the chat. But I also today's webinar is being recorded. We're gonna plan to have it archived and made available on YouTube, our YouTube channel, and then we'll go out to attendees along with the slides. Great question, Denise. Thank you. Anybody else have questions? I do want to make a note too. The links that I've shared in the chat for the employer and the job seekers, those change every month. So, and I noted it in the chat, but just wanted to say that too. If the QR codes and all that kind of stuff changes each month.
Yes, that is a good point. I'm going to just mention a little bit more on that as well. So every event is going to have its own unique registration link. So Everett does these events monthly, so every month it's going to be a new registration link. They will have to register for each event separately. So when they do come back, like I talked about in the beginning of today's presentation, when they come back for a second or third event, they do not need to recreate the wheel. They'll use that sign-in option, and then as they go through the setup wizard, all of their information will already be here, but it does allow them to update it if they choose to. But every event is its own unique registration link.
To add to that, for every job seeker that has registered for this event in the past, once the current event is over, a few days after the event's over, we send out the flyer and the hyperlinks for the next month's event. Fortunately, we have every month programmed out to May 2026 now. And in addition to us having all the programs planned out, all the PDFs created, the Education and Labor Cabinet is doing a push also, reaching job seekers and employers on this event. For your awareness level, year to date on this system, and I was just pulling up the current numbers, we have 111 employers that have registered for this event. We've got over 700 job seekers that have registered for this event also. We're averaging 36% veterans who are signed up for event. And as Glenn mentioned earlier, this is for everybody within the state, not just veterans, not just military families, but for everybody. Thank you.
And Denise actually touched on this earlier. I just want to encourage and elevate the work that the library staff are doing. Many of you have classes, you offer resume preparation, so this could be something you incorporate, just a thought, within the services that you already are offering to your patrons. That's great, Denise. Any other thoughts or questions, or even brainstorming? This could be an opportunity to, as Denise said, her wheels are turning. Other things that you think about, oh, what could we point this out? This, if you have laptops or you make hotspots available, and we know that some libraries circulate things via their bookmobiles. If you know of people in your community that could potentially benefit from this opportunity, certainly this would be a time that you can share that too.
With that, Hillary, I've got a tip for those who are training job seekers. So if I was training job seekers to do this, here's what I would probably do after when the event starts. When the event starts at 10 a.m. Keep in mind, this is open up to military family members also, so you don't have to be a direct military family member. So if your great cousin was ever in the military, you qualify as a military family member and they can participate. But this is how I'd use the event. When it starts at 10, I would take 5 minutes, open up every virtual booth. I would take my cell phone out and I would take a photo of that screen. Because as you open up every booth, whether Starbucks or Humana, you'll see every name of the hiring managers and the HR team that's participating. Later in the event, they may have to go to a meeting, so they may drop off. But at least I want to capture the names. After the event, after you've chatted with everyone, my follow-ups would be on LinkedIn. I'm going to try to send them a direct email message. And when I apply directly on the company's website, for like Humana's website, oftentimes when you apply on an applicant tracking tool, they'll give you the option is, do you know someone within our company? So, and that's the time that they can list out multiple names and say, I met the following people and include it. And then make sure when they're writing their cover letters for each job, when they apply, they mention the names of people that they met at this virtual job fair. That will trigger their algorithm internally to get read faster by everyone else, and you'll get a higher read rate from all the recruiters within that organization. That's it.
Thank you, Everett. Any other questions? So Everett sends me the message about the monthly job fairs, and I will plan to send that out later today for next week, the August 20th. Yeah, I didn't want to send it out too soon to confuse anybody, but that will send out later today with that information. If you've got questions, though, Everett's information is on that email, but I've also put it in the chat here, and you're welcome to email me as well. I'm going to put my email in the chat, and I can connect you or be happy to brainstorm with you any ideas. As we kind of wind down this webinar, I do want to let you know that you have an opportunity to let us know feedback about the webinar, what you learned, what you wish we would do more webinars about, or how beneficial you thought the webinar was, or any suggestions for improvement. That would be great. So I've just dropped that link in the chat as well. And any other final comments from either Glenn or Everett?
I have a final comment. Thank you all for participating and wanting to learn more about the virtual job fair. Here's a couple things, since you are all the trainers of future trainers and helping job seekers or employers. I'd encourage you to set up 2 accounts. Set up one with your company's account so you understand what the employer is looking for and how you add jobs. And the second one I would set up as a personal account. So with your Gmail, register as a job seeker, go through that experience, and then you can actually see how the job fair is actually operating. That may help.
I think that is a great point, Everett. I think sometimes going through the motions of actually, putting the email address in, setting up the account, going through the wizard, making edits to the profile, seeing it on the screen today is one thing, but actually getting in there and doing it, the setup does not take long. You could be registered to an event in 5 minutes, and get your profile all set up, but then you'll have a really good understanding, just because you've done it, how to kind of teach it to the job seekers. So. Great point, Everett.
Yeah, and as you register and you go through that experience and you're helping out the job seekers, what you will see is there's literally hourly jobs to 6-figure jobs offered by a lot of these employers. Some of the employers, and I'll give one example, is this $40 billion company called Jabil out of Florida, which participates in this event. They historically will have roughly 200 jobs within Kentucky every single month that are hourly to like mid 150 range that's available. The HR team doesn't have the bandwidth to post all the jobs on this virtual job fair platform, so they'll only post a few. They will always direct candidates to please visit their website so they can see all 200. And a lot of employers are doing the same thing. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would just like to wrap up my side of just thanking everybody for taking time out of their busy day to learn about the platform, learn about the experience of the job seeker. Thank you so much for attending. Great questions. Everett, thank you for your continued partnership. And Hillary, thank you for getting me all set up for this training here today. I appreciate your assistance as well. So.
Well, thank you, Glenn. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. Just quickly wrap up. The slides will be available at a later date within your Blackboard Collaborate learning session. The webinar has been, we've got it recorded, and we will plan to make that available in our archived webinars page and on our YouTube account. A link to the survey is in the chat. You can give us your feedback about this webinar. And a certificate of attendance will be available in your learner dashboard when that is available as well. Thank you again, Glenn. Thank you, Everett, for being here. And thank you all for attending today. Appreciate your time. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Please reach out if you've got any questions.